So you probably clicked on this video because you're interested in McMaster Health Science and you want to know how to get in. And me too, because I still don't know how I got in. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Jeanne, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my stats, my extracurriculars, awards, and other tips and tricks on how I got into McMaster Health Science. To be honest, I still don't know how I got in, but I'm not going to question it, I'm still going. Before we begin, I thought I would give you guys some background information on me. If you haven't watched my previous video where I reacted to all my university decisions, link will be down below, make sure you watch it. So, hi, I'm Jeanne. I'm a grade 12 student in Ontario, and this year, well, last year, November, I applied to 7 different programs, plus the Q-Arms pathway at Queen's University. In the end, now that it's May and most decisions already came out, I got into 6 programs. I withdrew from one of them because I didn't want to do the supplementary application, and I was rejected by the Queen's Q-Arms pathway very first round. Yeah. Thanks, Queens. One of these programs that I got into was McMaster Health Science, which, if you didn't know, is sort of like the pre-med program, like the most well-known one. It's not labeled as pre-med, and certainly not everyone who enters this program wants to go to medical school. Some even go to like law school or dentistry school or do business. Like it's a pretty versatile course, but I'd say the majority of people going into it want to do some form of medicine or go to medical school in the future, and I think it's the most competitive program in Canada. Q-Arms is the most competitive pathway, but it's not necessarily a program, but Health Sci, I think, is the #1 most competitive program. To put this into context, this year there was a record amount of applicants. Over 5,000 people applied to McMaster Health Science, and only 240 people actually got in. And by no means, if you don't get into this program, does it mean that you can't go into medicine. That's absolutely ridiculous. Not everyone who gets in is amazingly qualified, and not everyone who gets rejected is not qualified. They have a really unique way of deciding who gets in and who doesn't, and to be honest, I personally don't understand it that well, the supplementary application, but I'm sure they have a method to their madness. So this series is going to be broken down into 2 parts, and today's part we'll be going over my grades and basically my stats, my extracurriculars, awards, and the more quantitative stuff, and next week's part is going to be more geared towards the actual supplementary application of McMaster Health Science. So without further ado, let's get into my statistics. So if you didn't know, your OUAC, which is the sort of university platform that every single university platform that every single grade 12 senior in Ontario will use to apply to university, will show your grade 11 and grade 12 marks. So when people tell you that only grade 12 marks matter, that is kind of true, but kind of not true. If you're interested in getting accepted early, this is a great ego booster. Make sure you do well on your grade 11 marks. So my grade 11 average was a 97, and I'm pretty content with that. I like the grades that I got. So I actually started taking grade 11 courses in grade 10. So second semester of grade 10, I took pre-AP functions, and I got a 99. I took grade 11 French, I got a 97, and I took Anthro, Soc, and Psych, and I got a 97, and that was in grade 10. Moving on to grade 11, I took pre-AP advanced functions, and I got a 97. Healthcare, and I got a 97. Pre-AP English, and I got a 97, World Religions, and I got a 97. Second semester, grade 11, I took Pre-AP Biology, which I got a 97, Pre-AP Chemistry, which I got a 95, AP Calculus AB plus Vectors, and I got a 98, and World History, and I got a 95. And that is it for grade 11. Universities will take your top 6 average and in grade 12, and that has to include English and whatever courses are required for the program that you're applying to. So my top 6 average including English is a 97. However, the one that I submitted to McMaster Health Science, which required biology and chemistry and the maths obviously, was a 96. Also, my school actually disbanded the AP program in my grade 12 year because of the education cuts. So all of these are at a regular university level. So first semester of grade 12, I took chemistry and I got a 90. Hardest course in my opinion. I took grade 11 physics, didn't try that hard, got a 94, which is like pretty good for not trying, but like I could have done better. I took healthcare, grade 12 healthcare, and I got a 98, and philosophy, and I got a 95. Second semester, grade 12, which I'm currently in right now, I'm taking biology, which I'm getting a 97, physics a 96, English 95, and French a 91, which is really strange in my opinion, but it's not part of my top 6. So is it really worth arguing with my teacher? Maybe. So that is it for my marks. If you guys want a video on how I study or how I take notes, I would love to do that for you guys because, you know, give me an excuse to like geek out over pens. And let's move on to my extracurriculars. So some universities will give you the opportunity to tell them about your extracurriculars, work experience, volunteering experience, you name it, or just any outstanding circumstances in your life that can impede your application process. And my advice, even if it's optional, do it. So like the Queen's Personal Statement Essay or the Waterloo AIF, make sure you do these, and they can like really help your application, especially if you know your grades aren't the best. You can kind of make up for it in like your other areas like extracurriculars and work experience or such and such. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a brief rundown of my extracurriculars all throughout high school. So beginning with grade 9, I didn't have like that many because I was a competitive dancer and that took up most of my time. So in grade 9, I was on Respect Ed, which is like an anti-bullying, anti-harassment awareness group. We're trained by the Red Cross, and it's a by invite only group. And I was also on the Science Olympics team, which is like a contest hosted in May by the University of Guelph. It's so fun. Not that science-based, honestly, in my opinion, and it's just a really fun time. So that's all I did in grade 9. Moving on to grade 10, I started to branch out a little bit more. So I continued with Respect Ed and the Science Olympics, and I joined the volleyball team, which love volleyball, Haikyuu for life. And I also joined the cheer team, which I really loved because it reminded me of dance. I stopped dancing after grade 9 for financial reasons, and it was really fun. Grade 11 is when I joined student council, so I was elected as a grade 11 rep. Really love student council, I'm super passionate about it. I continued with Respect Ed and Science Olympics. I became the captain of the cheer team, so I became in charge of like choreography, making the music, teaching the routines, and teaching like our classes, sort of whatever. So that took up a lot of my time, and I continued with volleyball. Oh, and I also did HOSA and business club, which thoroughly regret. Not HOSA, business club, because I did it because they had contests and I wanted to win something. But like, speaking from my experience, if you're joining a club for the sake of like getting recognition and you're not actually like passionate about what you're doing, you're honestly just gonna end up wasting your own time like I did with mine and wasting everyone else's time who are like actually passionate about what they're doing in the club. In grade 12, I was elected as a student council prime minister. Huge honor. Like I didn't have that much experience, but I was really excited nonetheless, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job so far. And so that took up most of my time in terms of clubs. I still continue with volleyball. Love volleyball. Respect Ed, and I was supposed to do HOSA and Science Olympics, but coronavirus. Outside of school, I did a lot of volunteering. I didn't work as much, but I found that I got to learn more from volunteering, especially in the fields that I'm interested in. So in grade 9, I was a dance teacher assistant. I did that for 2 hours a week. Summer of grade 10, I volunteered at a robotics summer camp. I don't know anything about robotics, but I did anyways. It was just like Legos, so like wasn't that serious. I also did a summer camp with teens with intellectual disabilities, and I did that for 40 hours. Oh, the other summer camp I did for 80 hours, and that was really eye-opening. In grade 11, I started volunteering at a hospital in a nearby city. It was like a 30-minute drive, so it was far away, but it was at a hospital, so I was really excited for it. I volunteered in the gift shop and in the dialysis unit. I did that for 5 hours a week, and I got like 105 hours from that. I started volunteering at another hospital in the inpatient care unit, so I was working more closely with patients, so I like that a lot more. And I would be doing it right now if it weren't for coronavirus. August of 2019, I volunteered at another hospital, only this hospital was in Ghana, and this was by far like the best experience of my life. I was an international medical volunteer, so instead of like refilling gloves or whatever, I actually got to like work with patients and do like taking vitals, like taking blood pressure, helping the nurses suture. Like I got to do some stitches like by myself, scrubbing on surgeries, and where I got to see like, oh god, I'm wearing eyeshadow, a hysterectomy, a thyroidectomy, and like a C-section, and that was so incredible, like the hands-on medical experience. I did that with a program called Plan My Gap Year. Highly recommend. I actually vlogged my experience, not the medical parts, but like the weekend traveling that we did, and that is up on my channel. Make sure you watch it and give me those views. In terms of work experience, I did work as a private math tutor for like a year and a half, and that's just what I have for work experience. Now to complete the extracurricular like section of this video, I wanted to talk about awards. They're absolutely not necessary at all to get into like a good university. You don't have to win like DECA internationals to get into McMaster Health Sci or HOSA international. I don't know. Like you don't have to do that. I will say that having some sort of award, like a leadership award or like a math contest you won, can make you stand out amongst all the other applicants. For example, Waterloo has their math contests that they do every single year. If you're interested in going to Waterloo, I don't care what program you're in, write those contests and try to do well in them, so you have some sort of award you can write down on like the additional information section. So personally, the awards that I've won, I didn't note this on my McMaster Health Sci application because they never asked for them, but I did on like my Queen's application and my Waterloo application. So I wrote a lot of the Waterloo math contests. I'm not too good at them, but better than the people at my school, I guess. I wrote Pascal, Kaylee, Fermat, and the Canadian Senior Math Contest, and I got second, first, second, and second in my school, so I put that down. I also competed in the Brain Bee, which is a neuroscience competition in North America. I actually didn't know that much about it, and it was all from like self-research and self-teaching the material. Highly recommend if you're interested in like the medical field. And it's a cash prize too, so second place meant $200. Ayy. I also got like third highest average in my school in grade 10. I put that down. AP Scholar, put that down. And I got a couple leadership awards from the clubs that I did. And that is it for my awards. And that is it for part 1 of today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. Subscribe to my channel for future content. And let me know down in the comments below any questions you may have that you want me to answer in my next video. Make sure to follow my Instagram where I post pictures and makeup tutorials. I used to be a beauty guru, believe it or not. And I'm just getting back into it recently, so make sure you follow me there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!